The saga of the UnitedHealth Group's CEO just took assassins took a major turn when the suspect identified as, if I can pronounce it, Luigi Mangione was arrested at a McDonald's by, and I am not kidding, Officer Fry. Now, the pressing question is, was the officer French? The public needs answers. As for the suspect, he was caught red-handed with a hash brown, a 3D printed gun, and a written manifesto in his backpack because all of the efforts to hide his crime by, I'm not kidding, by dropping a decoy backpack in Central Park with Monopoly money seemed to have been for nothing, because he was holding his hand-printed gun and manifesto in his other backpack. So I guess that was for nothing. But people are still doubtful due to what the public insists is one staggering difference in Mangione and the suspect's appearance, the gap between his eyebrows. People are not convinced. The demand for a full investigation is very clear from the public. Did Luigi wax his eyebrows before the murder? Did he do it at a salon? And is the beauticians responsible for the gap? Also, his accomplice. I'm sorry, I can't keep a straight face because this is real. This is the information that's coming out, and people are just like, no, it's not the same guy. It's a different person because he has different eyebrows and the gap is just too big. Okay, so the arrest happened thanks to a McDonald's employee who called 911 informing the dispatcher that they had recognized the alleged murder suspect. Now, if you remember, the NYPD and the FBI offered $60,000 reward for providing information that would lead them to the suspect. Well, it seemed pretty clean cut, right? The employee called it in. The employee gets the reward for the tip-off. Well, not necessarily, apparently, because this is what it says. Bizarre reason why McDonald's worker might not receive $60,000 reward for identifying Luigi Mangione. And this is the part. So the tip-off from the employee is apparently crucial in the case, but the question remains if the worker will be able to cash in on the $60,000 reward after all. The rules are complicated as they stipulate tipsters in with a chance of the FBI portion of the reward cannot nominate themselves. What the fuck? I'm sorry. So someone else has to come in and be like, I volunteer this person as a tribute. Okay, no, okay, not really, but it's even more fucked up. So the article says, quote, this means the McDonald's worker will have to be put forward by an investigating agency such as the Department of Defense or the FBI, which is then reviewed by an interagency committee. If approved, the suggestion is then passed on to the Secretary of State, who signs off on the final decision. What the fuck? What the fuck? And also someone actually in the comments, someone said like, oh, by the way, they kind of fucked it up by calling 911. They should have called the tip line. Like, supposedly this is a technicality and they might not actually get the money because they called 911 instead of the tip line, which, what the fuck? Why? Also, the tip came from Pennsylvania, by the way, because New Yorkers are no snitches. So that's the internet's verdict. They're like, of course it came from Pennsylvania. We are not snitches. We wouldn't snitch on him. Well, anyway. And as days go by, more shocking information about the suspect's life and motives come to light. Mangione was an engineer and a UPenn grad, but he was also an avid gamer. And that raised concerns due to the violent nature of the game that he was particularly passionate about. And his people in his inner circle said Luigi once belonged, quote, once belonged to a group of Ivy League gamers who played assassins, a member of the group told NBC News. And the game in question, and I am not making this shit up, was Among Us. I can't. The internet is gold. Among Us. That was the assassin game that he was. Oh my god. Oh, this is gold. Bacon, thank you so much for the super. I'm late, but what did you just say about us Pennsylvanians? Well, New Yorkers are no snitches. I'm just saying. The snitch came from, the tip came from Pennsylvania. So, okay, to be fair, like he was back in Pennsylvania for, like, he was at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania, apparently. So it makes sense. But yeah, the Among Us has trained as well as assassins. I know. He was a trained assassin, trained by this evil game Among Us, and yeah, that's yeah. Also, after all of this info came out, by the way, and when it turned out that the McDonald's employee might not be getting the money for helping the police, people started posting alibi for the suspect. I am not making this up. This is what I love this. I love the internet. This is one. It was great seeing my friend Luigi Mangione in Tulsa on December 4th, 2024, between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. That's one. And then another one. This is from Truck Stop. We wanted to take a moment to give a shout out to our newest employee, Luigi, for picking up piss jugs in a 24-hour non-stop shift on December 4th, beginning at 12 a.m. Without ever clocking out. Thank you for your dedication to Selena 52 Truck Stop. Bruh. I can't make this shit up. This is real. Oh no, this is that's gold. That's pure gold. Oh my god. So how's it going, guys? How is your day? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I am having a blast. The comment section still remains ice cold, sub-zero temperatures in the comment section. They, people have very little sympathy for the UnitedHealth Group's CEO, which, I'm still on the fence about this, because like murder is murder. It's still murder. I don't know if this guy is there's conspiracy theories spiraling out of control on the internet about this guy. People are now saying that he is a scapegoat. He actually did not murder the CEO, and the police just kind of put an actor, I don't know, a stand-in, or they're kind of framing him, because it was very weird. This assassin supposedly was very kind of meticulous in hiding his tracks, and he was just he had this decoy backpack with Monopoly money. I'm not making this shit up. They actually found a backpack that belonged to him with Monopoly money in Central Park, and he was supposedly hiding his identity so much, and then they just caught him at a McDonald's with the backpack, with the gun inside, with a written manifesto inside, and then there's other things. So yeah, there's that, and there's him being a trained assassin by playing Among Us, apparently. Man, maybe I should play this more. I should play this game more. Very inspired by Among Us, with a mix of Monopoly and Fortnite. I know, right? What the fuck? But thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, I know you're confused. You might be a little perplexed by the intro of this stream. I know, I do that. This is my style. This is what I do, because this is gold. The internet is gold, and it just keeps on giving. But hi, if you're new here, hello, I'm FEARSONA. You can call me Sona, and I'm your friendly neighborhood true crime VTuber, here to give you full body chills. Bacon, thank you so much for another super. Not enough to see if his setup ran beforehand, though. Oh, okay, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you have a point. Sorry, I'm just sipping on my hot drink. Off to a good start. I know, I'm super invested in this saga. Also, this guy Luigi, he was Italian. Well, he is Italian, not was. He's alive. But he is Italian, and get this, he was kind of angry about his grandma and grandpa dying in like 2017, I think within a short kind of time, like within of each other, and internet was just like, I'm sorry, you mean to tell me he's Italian and he was avenging his grandma and grandpa? This is such an Italian thing to do. Like, wow, Italians be like, you killed my grandma and grandpa. That's, you know, vengeance. Oh yeah, and by the way, like, he had, I think there was like information that he has some like metal rods in his spine. Like, there was like another, and that's why he killed, like, police is like putting out all those reasons, like bizarre reasons why he killed the CEO. It was just like, oh, he had a surgery, spinal surgery, and he had like metal rods in his spine and he can't have sex now, and that's why he killed the CEO. I'm like, wait, what? Oh god, the internet is gold. It's a gold mine. It's a gold mine of, I don't know, like, I still find the situation like, yeah, it's still, you know, a person died, it's still murder, but I do find the circumstances and the situation and like new facts coming out pretty comical, pretty, like, it's pretty funny, some of it. And never mess with Italian loved ones, especially if you're a CEO. I know, right? So that was like one reason. Like, apparently grandma, grandpa, you know, they passed away, and maybe they didn't, like, that's why, like, because they didn't get the treatment that they deserved. And yeah, and he was just like, vengeance for my nonna, I don't know, like my grandpa, grandma. What is grandpa and grandma in Italian? That's a question. That is my question. What is grandpa and grandma in Italian? Anyone knows? How do I say grandma, grandpa in Italian? Wait, grandma. How to say? Because I need to know how to say grandma and grandpa in Italian. Oh no, I was right. I was gonna say like nonna and nonno. So yeah, nonna and nonno. That's grandma and grandpa in Italian. So I was right. I was gonna say like, oh, nonna, but then I was like, oh, was it Italian or was it Spanish or was it, yeah. So I got confused, but I was correct. So it is nonna and nonno. No. No, it's just nonno. Yeah. In Polish, it's a little more complicated. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this, for the updates. I am, as you might have already noticed, very invested in this story, and I shall continue looking at any updates because it is absolute gold and diamonds. So I'll be checking it out. In the meantime, we're talking about another creepy internet mystery today that pretty much started on Reddit with a very disturbing confession, and it spiraled out of control, and it turns out that this dark confession on Reddit might actually be connected to an unsolved case from like 30 years ago. Well, I mean 50 years ago now. I guess 40, 50 years ago now. But it might have spiraled. It might be linked to an actual unsolved case from decades ago. So there's, let me see. Shy, hi. Hello. That was Fear with the news. Now on to Grim with the weather. Grim, it's snowing sideways. I don't like that. Oh, yeah, Grim be like that. Okay, it's snowing sideways. I have complaints. I have a suggestion. Stop. Okay, guys, let's switch the music. Let's do this. Let's get right into it. So there's definitely something haunting about a missing person case, a void that seems impossible to fill, a mystery that grips a community in equal parts, with sorrow and desperation. Families cling to hope. Investigators scour every single clue. Also, Shai, thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships. Congratulations to everyone who got the membership. Please remember to say thank you to Shai. So yes, the clock is ticking in those cases. Like I think the missing persons cases, when they begin, it's especially stressful for everyone. It's definitely stressful and traumatizing for families. It's definitely stressful for investigators because every minute counts. The clock is ticking, and when such a case goes unsolved, it leaves everyone with questions, and with so many questions with no answers, and it might go on for decades before being solved. Like some cases, yeah, they get solved pretty quickly. The missing person turns up, alive or not alive or dead. But some of those missing persons cases go on for years and decades, and this one is one such case. But investigators never really abandon those cases. Like, yeah, they go cold, they are pushed kind of from the front page, right? But investigators are always waiting for any luck in the case, right? Like any luck in finding a new clue, a new breakthrough in the case. And once in a while, a breakthrough emerges from the unluckiest of sources, shaking everything we thought we knew. And in this case, a clue came from Reddit, from one user that came in and dropped the chilling yet bizarrely familiar story and then vanished without any explanation. So in 2016, a post on Reddit sent ripples through the online true crime community. The thread posted a deeply unsettling question. So this was a thread in Ask Reddit, and the question was: to those who have accidentally killed someone, what happened? And this thread went viral. Like, it garnered over 6,800 upvotes. Well, at least on Reddit, it garnered 6,800 upvotes and more than 10,000 comments, and it became a hub for chilling stories. But one comment stood among the rest. Like, other comments were kind of understandable. Maybe it was an accident at work. Maybe it was like, oh, I think one person shared that they are a train driver. They are responsible for trains, and they had actually killed 2 people. Both of them were jumpers, as in like, people just choosing to unalive themselves by jumping in front of the train. So it wasn't really within their control. Most of the comments were like that, like, oh, it was an accident. It was like a very unfortunate situation. It was something like, oh, at work, accident at work, very like clean cut case, like that kind of thing. But there was one comment that definitely stood out. So this is the comment. It's not the original comment. Like, I kind of had to dig through different YouTube videos to actually find this comment, because now the thread is deleted and the comments are deleted, and even the Wayback Machine didn't really have anything by now. But this is how it started. Quote: "This still haunts me to this day. As kids, we had a hideout in this dirt cliff/cove. This is the best approximation I can find on Google, only 3 times taller and probably 10 times as wide. There was a neighborhood kid who, in hindsight, was probably mentally handicapped in some way, but to us, he was just the weird/creepy kid. This was the 80s, and we weren't exactly raised politically correct. 3 of us were headed to our base and found creepy kid sitting in our quote-unquote guard chair. We yelled at him to get out, and he said something like, 'Make me,' and started lobbing dirt clods and sticks down at us. We all ran around the side to make our way up." And the poster continues. Quote, "It gets pretty fuzzy here, but all I remember is he fell. I still remember the sound. When we got back down to check on him, he was in a very awkward position with blood coming out of his mouth. We all just freaked out and ran home, and as far as I know, no one has spoken a word of this to anyone. We didn't go back for over a month and never said a word of it between us. Again, this was the 80s, so media wasn't like today. Chances are it got a small article in the newspaper B section. Quote, something like missing mentally disabled child found dead after a fall," or something like that. So this is it's a pretty terrifying scenario. I'm pretty sure if OP was a kid, like, he was scared. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, if all of them were kids, they were pretty scared. But as for what happened, could the boy's fall have been the result of a push rather than an accident? Because the OP doesn't really clarify, right? Like, he says in this one part, he says like, "Oh, it gets pretty fuzzy here, but all I remember is he fell." So he doesn't, like, this person, right? Like, this user doesn't actually say like, "Hey, well, we started struggling with him and someone pushed him," or like, "Oh, he was running and he was trying to run away from us and he fell." No, like, he doesn't really, the OP doesn't really reveal what happened. But the internet has questions, right? Everyone was asking, well, so did he fall on his own or did someone push him? Speculation definitely swirled as users dissected every single word from this post, searching for clues in the cryptic confession. And it didn't take long for someone to draw a connection. So someone noticed something bizarre about this, something familiar about this story. Within an hour of this comment coming up, another Reddit user, ad33dvf9, replied to the post asking bluntly, "Was it Scott Kleeschulte? He went missing in 1988 in St. Charles, Missouri, correct? That would make you around 10/11 years old at the time he went missing. He would have been 9. And that question ignited a frenzy. Because who was Scott Kleeschulte? As it turns out, it's a decades-long unsolved case that sounds very oddly similar to this Reddit user's story. The timeline seems perfect, and it sounds like the user revealed exactly what happened to little Scott, whose case had gone unsolved for, ever since. So to this day, 2024, it's still officially unsolved what happened to Scott. So let's look into the case. Let's go back to the summer day in 1988, a day that should have been ordinary but instead became a chilling mark in time. So on June 8th, 1988 of that year, 9-year-old Scott, which, by the way, the timeline, the age lines up, right? Like 9 years old. So 9-year-old Scott Kleeschulte disappeared without a trace in the quiet suburb of St. Charles, Missouri. It was the last day of school, and this was a milestone. Scott just finished first grade. So he just graduated from, he just finished first grade, and it was a milestone for him and his parents. The day was filled with excitement. It was also the beginning of summer vacation. For Scott, who had just finished first grade, despite struggles because he had a learning disability, he was having a hard time just keeping up with everyone. But it was supposed to be the start of a carefree summer days, and he was super excited that he managed to finish his first grade and advance to the second grade. And it was a very happy day for his parents. They also worried about Scott because he was a little slower than other kids. He was really having a hard time learning at the same pace. So the fact that he completed his first grade, it was, you know, like for the parents, it was also an accomplishment, and they were super proud of Scott. So St. Charles, as far as St. Charles, it was a very lively neighborhood that had a lot of kids, nearly 100 in that one area. So it wasn't unusual for kids to be out and about at the time. You know, there wasn't internet. There weren't like really, like, yeah, there were video games, but, you know, kids just in the summer, kids were just like out and about. They were playing outside. They were, you know, playing with each other, building bases, role playing, whatever, right? Like they were spending time, a lot of time outside. And Scott was no different. He also loved playing outside and loved making new friends, even though it was pretty difficult for him because kids found him a little weird. You know, like they didn't understand. Kids just simply didn't understand that he may have had some learning disability, some, you know, like he was like just a little bit slower. So to other kids, he was just weird. But, you know, but he was still a bright kid. He was still a very kind kid. He wanted to make friends, according to his parents. Like he really, really wanted to make friends. So Scott arrived home after school and changed into his play clothes and ventured out like so many kids his age, eager to explore. That day, Scott wore a black Rude Dog t-shirt, khaki pants, or khaki, I don't know how to pronounce that, but khaki pants and red and black high-top sneakers. By 4:30 p.m., he was spotted walking down this road that's called Ken Drive towards West Adams, which was just blocks away from his home on Leverance Drive. And not long after that, a powerful storm swept through this whole area, bringing heavy rain and strong winds. By the way, like Scott was most likely heading for this one area that I'm gonna show you later, but it's kind of this area here. Like that was the usual playground for kids in the area, and Scott lived here, right? So he was just walking down this road towards West Adams, and probably most likely he would have like turned here and walked all the way here. Well, so by 4:30, he was spotted like on this road walking down to West Adams. And then by 6, you know, like the storm kind of swept through the area. And by 6 p.m., Scott hadn't returned home. But his family was like, you know, they weren't really alarmed. They just assumed that he was playing at a friend's house because he still had friends, you know, maybe he wasn't as well liked, but he had friends. And it was actually very common in this community for, you know, kids to just like, okay, well, the storm started, so like I'm not gonna walk all the way to my house, like just come over to my, like, oh, don't walk to your house, just let's go to my house because it's closer, let's play at my house and, you know, wait for the storm to pass. Kid is also a football player. Neat. Yeah, he was very active. Like, according to his parents, like, yeah, he loved sports, he loved being active. Even if he, you know, even if he wasn't as successful in his studies, like, he really loved physical activities. You know, he loved like team sports. So yeah, like, you know, he was very active with other kids too. Okay, so by 6 p.m., Scott hadn't returned home. And at first, his parents weren't alarmed. They just thought, okay, well, he's probably at one of his friend's house, you know, like he's probably there. But as the hours ticked by, concern turned into panic. His family started knocking on doors, you know, all over the place, all over the area, every single house, checking with neighbors and friends, but no one had seen him. Scott had vanished. Scott was nowhere to be found. He didn't return. He didn't go to a friend's place. You know, he didn't go to a friend's house. He was gone. And his disappearance triggered an immense search effort. Bloodhounds traced his scent for nearly 5 miles northeast, but the trail went cold at one point, and authorities scoured caves, tunnels, streams, and creeks, desperate for any sign of Scott. Yet, despite these, you know, exhaustive efforts, no evidence ever came to light. It was as if Scott had simply disappeared into thin air, leaving his family and community with only heartbreak and unanswered questions. So many questions. Over the decades, speculations has swirled around the tragic disappearance of Scott. Theories range from the natural to the sinister. Some argue that, he may have been caught in the violent storm that swept through St. Charles on that day, because he could have fallen a victim to a sudden flash flood, because there were some flash floods in the area, so he could have been swept by the current. Other people suspected a darker scenario, believing that Scott might have been abducted and that foul play led to his death. And I'm gonna show you guys a video. It's kind of like a segment from the news, and it's an interview with Scott's brother. And it sounds, well, the story still sounds very, very similar, very familiar, very similar to that Reddit post. So I'm gonna show you guys the St. Charles. I think St. Charles, that's the city. Okay. So I'm gonna show you the news.
Thanks.
Who was the last person to see him?
As far as I know, family and friends would have been my older sister, Stacy, before she had left for work and stuff. And she was there when he had come home and changed after school and that. So as far as I know, it was Stacy.
And what did Stacy see?
He was, the last time she had seen him, he was at the top of the hill just playing, running around, being a kid like we did. I know people say not to play in the streets, but that's where we played, up at the top of the street. And that's where he was.
And this was a fairly urban but rural area, too. You were sort of out in the country, right, where kids just could feel free to play?
Yeah, it was a neighborhood. I mean, it was a neighborhood full of 100 kids probably in the neighborhood, but, right 5 minutes from our house was nothing. Farmlands and fields and dirt trails and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's, he mentioned like, 5 minutes from our house, there were like farmlands and trails and, yeah.
Violent was that storm late afternoon?
Well, this reports, well, at least the video was posted 4 years ago, so 2020. I don't know if that's because he went missing it's more than 23 years, because he went missing in 1988. So it's what, like now it's more, right? Like it's 36 years. Isn't it? Is my math not mathing? Wait. Oh God. Yes, I am pulling up a calculator because my math is not mathing. Oh, wait, 1988. Yeah, 36 years. Hey, never mind. My math is mathing. 36 years. Yeah, like this was a report from like way back, 23 years. So yeah, like quite a few years ago. But yeah, now it's 36. Still unsolved to this day. 36 years. Yeah, it's 36. I was born that year. Hey. 36. Yeah, so it's 80, the 80s. The 80s, exactly. So 88, that's when he went missing. So this is actually the, the report, like what happened. And the brother mentions the brother mentioned the trails because there were like trails very close to the house, right? Like as he said, like, yeah, it was an urban area, but then at the same time, like, oh, we had just 5-minute walk and you would be in the wilderness. There were fields, there were trails, and there was like a lot of trails. And he used to, like his brother later says, he liked to go on that trail and he would be just out and about there. I wonder if there's like more. Wait, let me see if there's more. No, okay, there's not more about the trail. Oh, wait. So the investigation turned toward potential suspects, including there was this guy, Michael J. Devlin, who had been implicated in several high-profile child abduction cases. A special task force was formed to explore any possible connection between Devlin and Scott's disappearance, but despite their efforts, no evidence ever linked him to the case. Like he was still, he was still arrested because he was involved in other cases, but not in Scott's case. And after 20 years, the task force disbanded in October of 2007, leaving Scott's disappearance an enduring mystery. So yeah, the case is open. The case is still cold and open, but the search for or task force was just simply disbanded because they didn't have any other leads. And then, 3 decades later, 3 decades after Scott's disappearance, this cryptic Reddit comment sparked new interest in the case. Was this Reddit user tied to Scott's vanishing? As is typical on the internet, users began digging into this anonymous commenter's profile, going through old posts and comments to piece together clues about the identity of this commenter and whether the confession was legitimate or maybe just a ploy for attention. And in their sleuthing, because internet sleuths are incredible, someone uncovered a very seemingly one comment, very suspicious comment about or telling comment by this anonymous user referencing a TV show. And on its own, it might not seem that significant, right? Someone said hey, this guy mentioned this TV show, right? Everyone's like, so what? So what of it? Why? So what if he mentioned a TV show, right? But it turns out that this particular TV show that he mentioned had only aired locally in St. Charles, Missouri. So he mentioned a TV show that was from the same town where Scott disappeared. So the same town where Scott Kleeschulte disappeared. Also, Joshua, thank you so much for 5 memberships, 5 gifted memberships, and congratulations to everyone who got the membership. Please enjoy, and please make sure to say thank you to Joshua. Yeah, so this commenter mentions this TV show that only aired exclusively locally in St. Charles, Missouri, which again, this is the same town. And this detail added another layer of, mystery or intrigue to the confession or suspicion to the confession, leaving many wondering if the Reddit post was the key to solving this decades-old mystery. And another user, Paramisia Antic, I don't know how to read that, but they also seem to have pinpointed the exact location that the author of the original comment was referring to. So this is what this user said. The location that is now Fox Hill Park in St. Charles had dirt trails and several steep gorges cutting through it in 1990. It's a little over a mile by foot from the last sighting of Scott Kleeschulte. Route I-370 wasn't built then, so it was accessible by foot. Today, it has been graded somewhat and has stormwater management areas, but you can still see the cliffs, to which another user replied with satellite photos of the area from 1990, and they said this: "You're right. And if you look at the Google Earth satellite imagery from 1990 to 2002-ish, you can still see some distinct gorges and cliffs. It looks like it's definitely been graded and leveled out a lot since then. This is looking like a very plausible setting. The storm, the way water could have flowed through this area in a flash flood, etc., it all fits. And hopefully you can pass this along." So this is actually the photo, right? This is the map, and the circled area is that gorge. Yeah, it makes so much sense. Because there's a cliff. It's very clear that there are cliffs. They're they're cutting through. One is particularly deep, so it would make sense, and it matches with this Reddit user's description that, hey, there was this trail, there was this area that we would hang out at, we had a base, and just imagine this, but 3 times. Let me just go back to the picture that the user himself, the user themselves, they posted, right? They posted this. And he said like, oh, something like that, but 3 times taller and 10 times like bigger or wider or more steep. So that's very, very oddly similar. Obviously, this user didn't want to like reveal their location, and they never replied to any of the comments. But yeah, it seems to be lining up. So the internet's interest in this confession grew even more, and then the account responsible for the post was suddenly deleted. Gone. Without an answer, without replying to any of the comments, like nothing. Leaving the internet buzzing with speculation. Was this just a plot? Actually, no. Actually, the OP, I think they replied. They did actually reply to some of the comments, but they were trying not to reveal their location. They were like very vague about the answers. Like he was trying to like very carefully not to answer any questions. Like I think there was like a couple of replies. I'm not sure because everything else is deleted. So I could only capture like the right, like I could only grab the source post or like the original post from like a screenshot from another video. But yeah, like it was very strange. So was this a ploy for attention, or is there truth hiding in this confession? So at first, skeptics suggested the confession might have been a stunt to just like rack up Reddit karma, because there's, people do that on Reddit. They just want like the Reddit points, Reddit karma, to just kind of collect Reddit karma points more from like a viral post, right? Yeah, like cause karma is like basically points that users earn when their posts or comments gain upvotes. But seems like he's trying not to get caught. Oh yeah, absolutely. He just kind of like, oh, immediately this guy, or I mean, I don't know who it is, but yeah, they just deleted their account immediately. Even though they were active on that account. So it's not like it was like a throwaway account, because they had other posts before this one, and their other comments and their, other posts in different threads were just normal, unrelated. Like there wasn't anything suspicious. And then there was this post. So it was an active user, and then they just simply suddenly deleted their account to not be tracked down. So yeah, like their previous posts were pretty much ordinary. They showed no signs of attention-seeking behavior. And if they were this user was after notoriety, it's very unlikely that they would delete their account as the story gained traction, right? Like, because they would want that attention. But here we are, and they just deleted the account. So piecing together other details, the confession seemed to align with known facts about Scott's disappearance. Scott had been seen walking westward toward the hills from like his house, roughly half a mile from where he was last spotted, and just about a mile from his home. And according to the commenters, Scott had been at a dirt cove when the alleged accident happened, and not long after, a massive storm swept through St. Charles, which brought heavy rain and possibly triggering maybe a landslide that could have concealed Scott's body. That's another theory. So flash floods that could have carried the body away, or a landslide that just concealed his body. And no one searched that area. It doesn't seem so, because, like, Scott disappeared. They were just like, yeah, like they were searching the area, but they weren't really digging. Or at least, like, I didn't see any information that the, police, like the task force or the search, right, like the search force were digging anything, like digging through that area. No. So it's a huge, that's a huge possibility, right? Like, because there was heavy rain, there could have been a landslide. Not to mention afterwards, like, oh, even if there was a landslide and it concealed the body, had they left this area untouched all those years, there was still a chance of finding Scott's body. But the area, ever since, the area like changed a lot. So like that was, I was just showing you pictures from 1990, right? Like 1990 to 2000, I guess, early 2000s. So there was still like, oh, this area was still there. But ever since then, like, oh, it changed a lot. And if they didn't have a tip like that, like, oh, maybe Scott was there in this gorge. No, like they didn't have it. Like now, I guess it looks different because there were some like developments in the area. So unfortunately, yeah, that's changed. Okay, so one Reddit user even managed to kind of deduce that the anonymous poster's age from, you know, the earlier comments, which determined that this person would have been 11 years old at the time of Scott's disappearance, which is consistent with the story they told. Yet with the account now deleted, any chance of verifying this confession or, you know, contacting this user was completely lost because they just deleted everything. However, some glaring inconsistencies raised questions. If Scott had died near the dirt cove, as the confession suggests, how had bloodhounds, because bloodhounds were actually brought in, right? And bloodhounds were searching that area too, like, you know, like around the area, they were just combing through everything, like everywhere, right? So how had bloodhounds tracked his scent nearly 5 miles northeast? So like, oh, they were searching, they didn't go there, they went northeast afterwards, like, you know, like they were kind of searching through that area, they didn't find his scent there, they just went 5 miles away. So this contradiction left many wondering if the Reddit post was actually fake after all. You know, as with anything on the internet, proving that the validity of a comment is nearly proving the validity of a comment is nearly impossible. Pretty good sniffers, yeah, pretty good. But well, okay, so it could have still been, honestly, it could have still made sense. Because they were just kind of sniffing his trail 5 miles away. What if like the flash flood just kind of carried his body 5 miles away? I don't know, because that's really weird. I think someone actually questioned this. Someone actually contested this. Yeah, the bloodhound searched nothing. No. Yeah, like they didn't sniff anything there. But I'm kind of thinking like, oh, what if the flash flood carried the body somewhere else and yeah, like the body was moved, so the hounds would have like just kind of followed that trail. I don't know. I think someone explained it. Someone was actually also like questioning like accuracy, or that they can't really sniff out some certain things. Like, I don't know, like there was like an explanation for that. I forgot to include it. Wait, let me take a sip. Okay. So ultimately, there are two possibilities. Either someone stumbled across Scott's case and decided to create a fictional confession for attention. So this person might have already known about Scott's case, right, in advance. They are not in any way like, oh, connected to him. But they decided like, well, I can farm karma, so I can just make up this story, this vague story from my childhood, and make it very similar to Scott's case, so that people make the connection, and then I can spiral this mystery, right? Like, oh, you know, the mystery is gonna spiral, and then I'm gonna delete my I don't know, for attention, simply, and then I'm gonna delete my account. Or was this story genuine? Shared by someone who had carried the weight of a terrible secret for decades, because I don't know, it was a very particular story, and well, it sounded, you know, the way that this poster wrote about it, right? Like, oh, we were kids, and as far as I know, like, oh, everything seems fuzzy, and as far as I know, like, no one spoke of it, we just ran away. Yeah, it would have been, you know, it sounds like a typical reaction of a kid to something this shocking, to an accident, right? Like, oh, they don't want to be held responsible. They don't want to get in trouble with their parents. So they would have ran away and not said anything. Like, they would have just, right, like, just stayed quiet and just keep it quiet and just block it out of their minds. Because he also said, like, this poster also says, oh yeah, everything, the details are fuzzy, right? Like, oh, it gets fuzzy from there. it does make sense. Like from a traumatic experience in childhood, yeah, sometimes like you block it out. So it's yeah, it's kind of oddly makes sense. Terrence, hello, thank you so much for tuning in. So to this day, Scott's parents continue to live in the same home they occupied when Scott vanished. They never moved because they, you know, they still hope that, hey, maybe if he was kidnapped, maybe he's alive somewhere out there. And there are those stories of people, of kids getting kidnapped, and then years later, decades later, they are found. Like, oh, it turns out that they had no idea they were abducted, and they grew up in a different family with a different life, and then they come back, right? There's still a chance. So Scott's parents are clinging on to hope that, hey, if he was abducted, there's still hope that he's alive somewhere out there, and maybe he's gonna one day find us. So we're just gonna make sure that we're in the same place, in the same town, and in the same house. But the disappearance of Scott Kleeschulte and the mystery behind it, the mystery of that Reddit post and the Reddit comment, remain unsolved. And that is it. It's a short case. It's a very short case, but it was isn't it pretty chilling? That is pretty chilling, right? I found it very interesting. It's very sad, obviously, because Scott was just 9. You know, he was just a kid, just 9. And, well, it could have been a scary scenario, foul play. Well, I mean, this one is also scary, but it could have been a much scarier scenario. Obviously, I hope that it wasn't. I hope that he wasn't abducted. All in all. Or if he was abducted, I do hope that he's alive somewhere, and he might one day come back. But this Reddit user's story is pretty chilling, and it's sad, you know, like it's incredibly sad, because this might have been just an very unfortunate accident that, you know, kids were involved, so kids didn't know any better, and, well, kids that young didn't know any better, and they simply didn't know that it was serious, and they were too scared to say anything. So yeah, Scott might be still in that gorge. I mean, I hope that they checked the gorge. I don't have any information about whether or not the police like checked or dug through this area, if it's still possible, because as I said, like the area transformed ever since. So I'm not sure if it's still possible to dig, to search this particular area. I do hope that... I'm kind of surprised that, you know what? I'm surprised that Reddit, after this blew up so much, because this case did blow up, and it was like, oh, it blew up in 2019. I believe like a lot of videos come from 2019 about this case. So I'm very surprised that you know, Reddit decided to remove that whole thread, because they removed it. It's gone. Like the Wayback Machine also, like, oh, it has just the title, but it doesn't have the comments. Like it used to have the comments. Now it's like all deleted. So I wonder if like Reddit still has it, or maybe they passed it to the authorities. I mean, I hope so. Yeah, they completely removed it, because I was trying to find it in the Internet Archive or the Wayback Machine, like anywhere. Like I was trying everything, and all I could do in the end, like all I could do was grab screenshots from like another video of this post, because I came across it on Reddit in another post, but it didn't really have like all the screenshots. So I was just like, okay, I have to find it, because I came across it, and then I was looking up the videos. So I did find a video that had screenshots of the post and like some comments. But yeah, like that was in 2019, I wonder, and Reddit just removed it. So I wonder if they can reinstate it, right? Like, is it possible? I think Reddit can reinstate it. They completely removed it. Yeah, like, so how just Reddit stories connected to an unsolved crime is chilling. Yeah. Oh, that absolutely. Like, that always gets me, because I had covered like other stories that were you know, like it started on Reddit, like something someone posted on Reddit turned out to be connected to a case. It always gets, you know, like it's always pretty chilling to know that, hey, there might see this is my point. This is exactly my point. There, whatever case I'm covering, whatever cold case I'm covering, cold, old, unsolved, there's always a chance that there is someone out there who knows something about the case but they don't realize, or you know, they never came forward because they, you know, they're scared of the consequences. You know, even if in this case I don't think there would be any consequences to this person because it was an unfortunate accident. Like, if this is true, it was an unfortunate accident, I don't think this person would have been held responsible. Yeah, because they were just a kid. Like, I think the authorities would take into consideration that this person was just a kid at the time, and you know, this happened, the accident happened, and yeah, you know, like I don't think it was anyone's fault necessarily. But yeah, as I said, like, it's very, you know, it is hopeful to see that, hey, there are people out there who might know something about a cold case, but they don't realize, or they share on Reddit, they share it on Reddit, and then someone realizes that, hey, this actually might answer some questions in a case, or like, oh, hey, this sounds like it could be linked to this XYZ case, even if the person themselves doesn't realize that, hey, this is actually a cold case, and oh, holy shit, I might have witnessed it. There's always hope, but hope can get you so far. That's true. That's true. Like, hope itself can get you so far, but without actual breakthrough clues, evidence, like, it's just not gonna, right? Like, hope itself, it has its limits too. Don't accidental murders still count as murder? Yeah, but you know, like, I think this one is a little murky, right? Because the kids were like 9 to 10, 11, and it was an accidental death. I think, and years ago, I think it would be taken into consideration. You know, I think it would have, obviously it needs investigating, you know, it would have been investigated unless, because this user seemed like they presented it as in, oh, Scott tripped, or Scott was, you know, they were, well, this user never implicated that Scott was pushed. They're like, oh, let me look at the post. See, it gets fuzzy here, but all I remember is he fell. So again, this user never says, oh, we pushed him. So now the question is like, okay, whether or not you pushed him, whatever. Like, if you just pushed him, okay, well, this is very hard to prove, right? Like, oh, we pushed him, or Scott just fell. But if the body is found and they investigate it, well, they do autopsy, right? Like, now technology, like forensic technology, is incredible. Like, you can actually, even if the murder or the incident happened 30 years ago, I think they can still, right, like, they can still determine like how the person died and whether or not they were like beaten severely, because there's still that question, like, oh, was it just a push, or were you like very upset with Scott being in your base, or like in the guard chair or whatnot, right? Like, because the poster actually mentioned like, oh, we told them to get off the chair, and you know, we yelled at him to get out, and he said something like, make me. Well, who's to say that didn't upset them? And maybe it wasn't just a push, maybe it was like actual altercation, maybe it was actually, you know, like the authorities would discover that, hey, Scott was beaten before getting pushed, or before falling and you know, dying. Well, we don't know. That's the thing about this case, or that's the thing about this post. We don't know, because this person just disappeared. he did throw mud at them. Yeah, like he threw mud at them, but at the same, right, like, yeah, like, so kids are weird, right? Like they could have gotten pissed. Well, they were pissed. So they could have gotten angry, and you know, kids get into fights, like physical fights. So if maybe they beat him and then they pushed him, I don't know. Like that's why this post is so chilling, because the person says like, oh, it gets fuzzy. They don't really reveal details. So the question is like, oh, did they block it out of their head? Did they block it out of their mind? And they actually genuinely don't remember because the incident was so traumatizing and they simply don't remember, or they are just not saying it. Like they're just not revealing it because they're like, okay, well, they do remember. It was right, like the incident was so shocking that they do remember every single detail, but they don't say it to not be held responsible. Better than rocks. Yeah, like he was just yeeting some mud. I was an ass as a kid. I think every single one of us, let's face it, every single one of us, we probably had our like asshole moments. I was an asshole too. I admit I was an asshole, and I regret a lot of things from when I was a kid. But obviously I didn't, never committed something like that. I never did something like that extreme. But right, okay, let me switch the music. But yeah, like the thing about this case is that, the thing about this post is that this commenter never reveals any details. He just says like, oh, the details are fuzzy, and let's be honest, we all were. Oh, absolutely. Come on, kids are assholes. Yeah, like, do I have, okay, let me be honest. Like, do I have memories of myself being an asshole, and do I have things that I regret doing as a kid or saying as a kid? Absolutely, 100%. I said some fucked up stuff to my peers, to adults. I was an asshole. I could be an asshole, and I think I gave my parents a lot of headache. But an absolute terror. Part of childhood, we gotta act like an asshole or a brat. I judo flipped one of my classmates and my cousin somehow, so I'm counting that. Yeah, I got into physical fights with my cousin, and we would be pulling each other's hair, and just like, I was being an asshole, or I was just acting all high and mighty, or like I was better than my cousin or something. I still regret it to this day. Dude, I don't wanna like admit that, because now I'm like reliving the trauma. I still feel sorry about that, and my cousin still not about that, like another incident. I kind of like left them somewhere. I kind of like left them waiting for hours, and I regret it to this day. And I apologize to him whenever I see my cousin, but I was such an asshole. So to this day, he reminds me of that day, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was such an asshole. This was such an asshole thing to do, and I'm so sorry. I cannot apologize to you enough. Yeah, like to this day, I apologize to him, because I'm like, I feel it in my soul. Ever since the holy bread, she's been a terror. Jeez. But Baxter, thank you so much for the super admitting behavior during live stream on the interweb. I know, I admit. You know what? I admit. Like there's a couple of situations, but that one particular situation, and yeah, like I'm being honest. Like to this day, I remember every single detail. I regret it so much. And every time I see that cousin, we meet for like Christmas or whatever occasion, family occasions, he points it out. He reminds me like, hey, remember that time you left me alone and like for hours waiting, and we were just kids. We were like literally 10, 11. I'm like, yes, I'm so sorry. I was such an asshole. I'm so sorry. I regret it to this day, and I can't even like apologize to you enough, because that was such an asshole thing to do. Sorry for going off topic. No. That's it was the end of the case. So as I said, like kids can be really like real assholes, and things happen. So I hope, all in all, at the end, I do hope that maybe someone found, like Reddit actually found like a way to reinstate this post, or actually send the post and the account to the proper authorities, and I do hope that they investigate this, because I think that's a valid tip. Speaking of Christmas, what's your Christmas plans? I have Christmas dinner with my friends on the 20th of December. Well, it's gonna be, I guess it's gonna be, no, 20th. Yeah, 20th of December. So I'm gonna be making some pierogies. We do potluck, so everyone brings something, right, like some food. And I've decided to make pierogies. And there's gonna be a stream in the morning, like my time, 20th, like morning my time. But it's gonna be 19th evening for you guys, so I'll be making pierogies from scratch, Polish dumplings, and then I'm gonna meet up with some family on the 23rd, I think 23rd or 24th, for dinner. So some family here. We're just gonna meet up and have dinner at a restaurant, because I am not cooking twice. I'm not making like huge Christmas dinner twice. Fuck that. I've done this like twice or 3 times at my place, like a dinner for many people, and I was just like slaving off in the kitchen. I am not doing this, and every time it's just like 2 dinners, like one before Christmas and one on Christmas, and every time it's just like, oh, it's on my place, and yeah, and I have to like clean up later, so I'm just like, fuck that, I'm going to a restaurant this year. The Sona feast dinner, yeah, because like, okay, I enjoy Christmas dinners, and I enjoy making pierogies or just like preparing something, but I do not enjoy the cleanup. I do not enjoy having to like be in the kitchen all day. And now I feel like super sorry to my mom and to my grandma and to like just my family, who like adults in my family that were preparing Christmas. Because my mom would always be so angry. Well, not angry, but like, she would just like, complain about it. She's just like, no, next year I'm not preparing this, I'm not doing this. And I would always be, like confused, very confused. I would always tell her like, what do you mean? But it's such a fun occasion, like, oh, it's such a festive occasion and it's so fun. Now I understand. Now I kind of understand what she meant, because she was slaving off in the kitchen like all day with like my grandma, my aunts, my uncles, like everyone was helping. But then like, most of it was like on my mom and like my grandma. So yeah, I can imagine maid Sona doing all of that. Yeah, I do have an apron. But yeah, my mom would just like be preparing the like stuff for like cakes and everything for the Christmas dinner. And yeah, I would be like, what do you mean? It's so much fun. And she's like, don't even, I'm not doing this again. Now I understand. I'm sorry, Mom. Mom, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was, yeah. How the turntables, how the tables have turned. Yeah, I swear to God, like now I'm just like, you know what, fuck that. Cause like when I was a kid, I didn't have to care about the cleanup. Like when I was a small kid, right? Cause like, I didn't have to really help clean up. I was just like, Christmas gifts, Christmas caroling, Christmas movies, food, this is great. And meanwhile, my mom and like adults and older kids would just be like, oh, fucking Jesus, like there's so much cleaning up. I'm like, yep, never mind. Now that I'm organizing it, I've organized it a couple of times. I'm just like, no, not this year. This year, I'm just going to the restaurant and let them cook and let them clean, because I'm gonna pay for it. I'll pay for it, and all good. Azriel, hi. Hello, been subbed for a while and first stream witnessed. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Maid Sona, what to do? What do you mean? Wouldn't be the maid? What? Sona wouldn't be the maid. Mothman would though. He would. He has like a little apron. I'll make sure that he has a little apron and little like dust. The dust thingy. Duster. No, not duster. What is the broom? The little broom for dust. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that Mothman has that. Also, Baxter, thank you so much. My parents. That's why we had kids. Dishes help. Oh no. I mean, no, like I was helping too when I was like a little bit older. I was helping with the dishes, because if I was too small, like my mom would just be like, nope, no, you're gonna shatter. Get out of my kitchen. When I was small, when I was like a small kid, I would come into the kitchen and be like, oh, I want to help. I help too. And my mom was just like, no, get out of my kitchen. You're gonna shatter my nice plates. Do not. And you're gonna cut yourself in the process and lose some fingers in the process. And I'm like, oh, but I want to help. And then when you get to like teenage years, you don't want to help. Yeah, when it's like teenager era, you're like, you don't want to help. But then you're required to help, obviously. But yeah, that's Christmas, some Christmas stories. What do we have for this week? We have quite a few things. I think I posted my schedule, but I shall share it with you guys here. Let me see. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's wait, did I? Oh, this is the new schedule. Yeah, new schedule. Wait, let me just... Alright, let's look at the new schedule. What do we have for this? Another message from my mom. She's preparing my funeral, asking about flowers, music, the usual stuff. Okay, so for this week, we had Creepy Internet Mystery today. Tomorrow we have some scary videos, haunted Santas, yes, scary Christmas videos. I'm still in the process of searching or looking for them for some of the scary stuff, but definitely some full body chills before Christmas, in the festive mood. And then we have a VTuber collab supermarket together. So in light of me preparing for Christmas dinner, I have to get some ingredients, obviously. So I'm gonna be off on a trip to the supermarket with my VTuber friends, VTuber collaborators. So we're gonna be shopping together. It's a game, supermarket together. But yes, we're gonna collab. Quite a few VTubers, so we're just gonna be shopping. And then we have another case on Patreon. If you are a Patreon member, then you will be able to tune in on Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So another true crime case, another creepy case. Check it out. Check out my Patreon if you would like to join bonus streams, get some wallpapers. I'm in the process of commissioning a Christmas wallpaper. Hopefully it's gonna be done this month. I'll make sure that it's done this month. But yes, there's gonna be a new wallpaper for December, so you can look forward to that. And it's gonna be for gold, platinum, ruby, and diamond tiers. Not the lowest tier, not the silver one, but the second lowest. So yeah, you guys will get a new shiny wallpaper, and obviously all the other bonuses. By the way, if you are a Patreon member, and if you were a member when I had the mousepad, the desk mat campaign, please let me know. I would really love to hear if you received it, and if you didn't receive the mat, obviously please contact me and I'll make sure to resolve it and to send another one. Okay, and then we have a true crime case on YouTube. So another case yet again at 5 p.m. I'm just streaming earlier this time, but 5 p.m. Pacific time, another true crime case here on YouTube on Sunday as usual. And then Christmas week. So the next week is Christmas week. I have a lot of things to do. I'm still in the process of writing and recording the what is it? God, what is it? Oh God, I'm looking for the word. Lore video. So I'm still in the process of writing it. I have to start editing. I have to start recording. So hopefully it can come out. Probably not December. I'm so sorry. Probably January. Because just things piled up and I have a lot of things to record and a lot of things to prepare. And obviously I want to have as many streams as possible before my trip, because I'll be gone from December 28th to January 3rd, I think, 4th. I can stream on the 4th, I think. So I'll be back on the 4th, but I'll be gone from December 28th to 3rd, January 3rd. I am going to New York. Yes, I'm gonna see the ball. I'm gonna be in New York. I'm going for like a couple of days. I convinced my family. I convinced a couple of friends and families that we're going together, and I am going to see the ball drop. Hopefully you won't piss my pants. She's walking here. I'm arriving. I'm gonna my first time in New York. If you guys have any recommendations of what to see, like what can I see, what can I do in New York within like 5 days of me being there, because it's just a couple of days. It's literally just a couple. Take a coat. I'm preparing for that because I know that it's gonna be cold. Lost in New York. FEARSONA lost in New York with her shenanigans. But yeah, I was waiting to announce it. But yes, I'm gonna be in New York for New Year's. It's super exciting. It's on my bucket list. Obviously, I'm gonna watch Home Alone #2, Lost in, like Alone in New York, and yeah, find a rat, eat a pizza. Don't go down in alleys. No, don't worry. I'm gonna try to stay safe. Don't go to Chicago. I've been to Chicago before. Sona shall stop the wet bandits from robbing a toy store. Yes, I'm on a mission. It's not just watching the ball drop. It's a whole mission. Find a pigeon and take a picture. I'm gonna take a picture of a New York pigeon. I'll write it down. For sure. I'm gonna be sending you guys pictures of New York pigeons. But yeah, no, never go to New Jersey, Sona. No. I think I'm gonna be staying because it's a short stay. like it's just a couple of days. I think, and it's my first time in New York. I will just start with just like Manhattan. So we're like, our group is just gonna stay in Manhattan and just do stuff around Manhattan. So if you are from there and you know some good spots in Manhattan, or like some fun things to do in that area, like you can go ahead and leave your suggestions in the comments. I would love to hear some suggestions, like if you guys know like nice spots to eat, or like nice spots to go to in the area, then I would love to hear from you. So go ahead and give me some suggestions. I only have a couple of days, so it's not gonna be it's not a long stay. So I want to pack it as much as possible with things to do. Get a Statue of Liberty item. I will, for sure. I don't know if I'm gonna see the statue, like probably like from afar, but I'm not gonna like go to see the Statue of Liberty as in like close up, unfortunately. Not this time, probably. Although we still might. I don't know. We'll see. But I really would love to. I'm not sure if it's gonna be this time or next time, but I will definitely get some New York merch. And Baxter Black, thank you so much for another super. I used to watch the graffiti pass on train cars. What? I used to watch the graffiti pass on train cars. Try it. See, I don't know if I... Okay, would you... Okay. Question, would you guys say that Manhattan, like Times Square area and like the Chelsea area are pretty safe to like walk? Is it safe, or am I supposed to like buy a bulletproof vest? Am I gonna get shot or mugged or what? And any suggestion on how to survive in New York, that would be really appreciated, because I'm imagining all those scenarios, like I'm getting all those like creepy scenarios in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna get shot, I'm gonna get mugged, I'm gonna get everything, like robbed, and it's super dangerous, and I'll die. Yeah, my the group, like my friends and family who are going with me are just like, oh my god, stop it, we're gonna be fine. I'm like, no, it's outside, it's dangerous. Maybe have mace. Okay, yeah, that's okay. That's fair. I think I can, right? Because I can buy it in, because I don't think I can bring it on like in my suitcase, but I can buy it in, probably can buy it in New York, because yeah, I know it's legal there. I don't think Ghostface is in New York now. Oh, okay, that's good. Well, that's good. Remember, Sona, they can't mug you if you mug them first. What? Should I get like a fake gun and like, oh, someone pulls out a gun on me, and I'll be like, I pull out a gun on them and be like, hey, I'm mugging you first. No. Watch out for Jason. Jesus, Mace is a good choice. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get that. I think I'm gonna, you know, just in case. I think we're gonna get some Mace and just be careful. I guess like don't walk around at night, that kind of thing. Like, oh, be aware of your surroundings. Can you handle a use of taser? Well, we can find out. I guess I can find out. No, like, I don't think I would get a taser because it's illegal here. Like in Taiwan, I can't get it. Like I can't take it in my luggage, and it's definitely illegal in Taiwan, so I can't really bring it here. So I would have to like dispose of it somehow. Dispose of the weapon. At least you don't gotta worry about Michael Myers. Oh yeah, because he's not there, right? Like as in it wasn't there, right? Like it was a different, like the plot happens in a different state. Just watch out for the one park in New York. Wait, really? Central Park? Well, I'm not gonna like go deep into Central Park, just probably like where people are, you know, during the day and like in the crowded areas. Like I wouldn't really go into like deep into Central Park like alone. Of course, take pictures of Spider-Man. The Buggle, what? More so Jonah. Oh, the Buggle needs them. I'll keep an eye out. Sona with a taser. I think that's a very dangerous vision. A very dangerous scenario. Sona with a taser. I think I would drop this shit, or I would tase someone accidentally. I don't think that's a good idea. Jason. Oh, Jason was in Manhattan. Okay, but Michael Myers wasn't, right? Also, Jose, thank you so much. Necklaces and fireworks. Sona McAllister. Hey. Should I freak out the hotel staff? Like if we're at a hotel, like order room service and then like play the movie. You know, play the movie, the one that Kevin was playing when he was like freaking people out. Sona with a taser, dangerously hot. What? Dangerously dangerous. Please, for the love of God, don't end up as a statistic. No. I'm gonna be very careful. Like, you guys don't freak me out. Cause I'm already like, oh, I'm excited, but at the same time I'm like, oh, New York, big city. Even though I live in big city, but big city with guns. I just hope it's gonna be okay. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be okay. I'm pretty sure I'm just overthinking this, and as long as I'm safe, I don't walk around at night anywhere. I'm kind of aware of my surroundings, and I'm just very careful not to like go into dark alleys and like empty areas or something. I'll be fine. Lest I should still be careful. Was it a fake movie? What? You would have to meet the Orange Man if you check in to the hotel. Oh, okay, I got it. I was just like, what Orange Man? Oh, that Orange Man, okay. Dude, like, I love that scene. I still love that scene. I was just like, what? Because, as a kid, you never realized, right? Like, as a kid, you don't really know who that is. So you're like, oh, whatever. Whatever. A guy just, talks to Kevin. But then years later, I was just like, what the fuck? It was him? It's crazy. As long as you stick in a group, you'll be fine. Yeah. Like, we're gonna be fine. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be fine. I feel like she would scream as soon as she tries to use a taser. Yeah, like every time I use a taser. See, that's the thing. I would be using a taser on someone else, but then every time I use it, I'm gonna be the one screaming. I'll just be like, ah! Just start screaming like, ah! Ah! Please be careful, Sona, in New York. I'll be careful. Don't worry. I'm gonna be careful. Joshua, thank you so much for being a member for 10 months. For real, be safe, Sona. Also, almost a year. Hey, almost a year. 10 months. So close. 2 more months, and then it's a full year. Number 47 is in that movie. Wait, what? Wait, number 47? What is number 47? Am I missing something? Just a random guy. I know. Like, oh, who's that guy? Oh, we don't know him. That would be so funny. Yeah, I would definitely scream while using a taser on someone else. Like, I'm not even the one being tased, and I would just be like, eh. guy. Hello, ma'am. Sona pulls out cartoon hammer. See, this is actually, you guys are laughing and I'm laughing, but this is actually a very realistic scenario. I'm just gonna be on my guard at all times in New York and just like being maybe on like 5 cups of coffee just to stay awake, feel terrible but fast, and just be like, wait. Oh, I have it. I have a better idea. This is me in New York. At all times. At all times, just... Oh my god. I triggered it the wrong way. Always. Not Agent 47. Who's Agent 47? Am I missing something? Wait. Agent... Am I missing something? Is this a mistake? Oh, okay. It's from the Hitman series. Oh, see, I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with this, with the series. So, oh, that's what it is. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, that does make sense. Okay, now it makes sense. Hitman reference. Fear would tase while screams. Stop, then tases again. Yeah, like I would just be like... Like me screaming. Like... Every single time. From the video game. Yeah, I just don't know the video game. So yeah, that's why. New Yorkers will help you because they can sense you're scared. They'll be like, okay, let me guide this poor soul because she sucks. Like, oh my god, you suck. Why are you scared? Be like, yeah, I'm just the first time here. Like, yeah, I know. I can smell it on you. New York can smell fear. No! No, and my name is Fear. No! Why? Neither am I. And I even got the reference. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm just not familiar with like the game, the character. So yeah. Why are you... Sona is Sona a bucket in disguise? No, I'm just fearing. I'm fear and not in disguise. I'm pure fear. Joshua, thank you so much for another super. Sona tasing someone and looks like Moe being shocked like in the Home Alone. Oh, Mo being shocked in the Home Alone 2. Oh, that's true. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that. Also the burn. The burn on his hand, that was great. Dude, like Joe Pesci was such a good choice for this role. Like he was almost too good. He was so good in this role. Also the other guy, the other actor, also peak choice. This was great for both movies, and both movies are great. Let's hope you find some matcha latte in Manhattan. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission. That's like one of the first things, because I will not survive 5 days without matcha latte. You don't understand. I'm gonna lose my will to live. And I'll be like, I'm just gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna survive. I'm not going back. I'll just lie down and just let the elements do their job. I love that movie. I love both of them. Both of them are great. Okay, you guys, this is it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a couple of streams this week. We have a lot of streams, a lot of spooky streams, a lot of full body chills that I'm gonna give you guys this week. And please remember, if you are a Patreon member, we have a stream on Saturday. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and for the scary videos, then for a collab, then on Patreon. So if if you're curious about my Patreon, you can go check it out. Check out the perks, the perks of the benefits from my Patreon. Each level has some pretty good benefits, so you can check it out. But you don't have to. There's always gonna be free content here. There's always gonna be free streams, videos. So please enjoy the videos. If you would like to support the channel, I would really appreciate it if you left a like. If you like my content, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications to be notified whenever I stream in my little dark corner of the internet with another creepy internet mystery. That is it for today. Thank you so much. Stay tuned, stay safe. Always lock your doors and windows. Bear your haxes. Until the next time. Bye.